You only get so many family vacations. Spend them where sandcastles stand tall and children's laughter rises with the tide. Port Aransas is a place where family traditions unfold naturally among island views and the unhurried moments between adventures. These are the sun-soaked days you'll look back on and know you made the most of your time together. Come make childhood memories they'll never forget. Revel in the island life and plan your next family tradition at visitportaransas.com. Austinites know hard work, but you don't have to do it all yourself. TaskRabbit has been helping folks in the live music capital for over a decade with everything from furniture assembly to minor home repairs. Don't let that to-do list ruin your weekend. Use the TaskRabbit app to describe what you need and find a skilled tasker in your neighborhood who can take it off your plate. And they have transparent pricing, so you'll see the hourly rate up front. Download the TaskRabbit app now or visit TaskRabbit.com today to get those home to-dos crossed off.
On any given Saturday night, you can find just about every genre of music right here, specifically the blues. So today on CityCast Austin, I'm talking to two different musicians, an Austin icon and an up-and-coming star, to answer the question, is Austin still a blues city? It's Thursday, April 23rd. I'm Eva Ruth Moravec in for Nikki Devon, and this is what Austin's talking about. I am here with Austin blues legend, soul man Sam Evans. Hi, Sam. How are you doing today?
Doing great, darling. How about you?
Fabulous. So we really wanted to talk to you because we all know Austin as the live music capital of the world. And Austin's Blues Festival has been around for a few years. But what is Austin's reputation as a blues city to you?
Well, like I say, it's the music capital of the world. And they have a lot of great musicians here in Austin, quite a few legends. And it's a great place to be and to come and hear live music all over town. They have a lot of blues here, but they have all different types of music here in Austin. But yeah, they do have blues, Texas blues. They have some Chicago blues. I'm from Memphis, Delta blues. And so just a whole host of music and different types. And so it's a nice place to be for music.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know for many years you had a weekly residency at the Skylark, and you really made a lot of space for younger musicians to come and join you and learn. Tell me about that experience for you and what you missed about that.
Well, it was a fun place. You know, like I said, I was there for 13 and a half years hosting the Sunday night blues jam there, and met a lot of interesting young fellows came in, and I always like to invite them up and see what they could do. If they were all right, it was fine. If they weren't, that was good too. And I tried to give my little input and try to help them along and stuff. And so, but yeah, kind of missed the old place, the Skylark. You know, it was a real cool spot to be and play.
Do you think there's another spot like that in Austin where you could have that relationship with other musicians?
Well, we're talking about opening the Skylark back up, but it won't be in the Skylark's name. And they're working on it because I know they've gutted the building and have remodeled a lot in there. But I don't know when they planned on opening it.
Wow. Well, that would be a big deal. It'd be nice for one of these places to come back after losing it.
Yeah.
And I know that you've lived in a lot of different cities, from Memphis to Alaska to Farmington, New Mexico, and Santa Fe.
Oh, Lord.
All over the place. But how does the Austin audience feel to you? Is there anything that's different playing music in Austin for you?
Well, yeah, like I said, I've met a lot of good good people around here in Austin has been very nice to me and my wife since we've been here. We've had a few nicks and tucks, along the way, but like I said, met some good friends, some good people, and and it's just a nice, it's been a nice place to be. I don't have no hard feelings or qualms about Austin. It's been good for me and my wife. And like I said, after meeting Jimmy Vaughn and Gary Clark, you know, it's been great.
What do you think those two guys did for the Austin music scene?
They are Austin. They are Austin, Jimmy and Gary. There are a lot. There are a lot more. I'm not familiar names. I'm an old guy. I can't really remember all this stuff.
Everybody knows your name. You're a legend around here.
Well, thank you.
Yes, sir. I'm curious, as a natural singer, I know you kind of came out singing. What was it about the blues that, attracted you to that genre?
Well, I didn't start off with blues. When I started singing, I was a lot into soul music and R&B. But after I got into it, like I said, I started this when I was 50 years old. And should have done it when I was a very young fellow, because I auditioned for Stax Recording in Memphis back in the 70s and asked to audition to record, but I had other things going on in my life, and so I didn't get a chance to do it then. And it came to me at 50 years old in Alaska from, they called it karaoke, and I didn't even know what it was. And so I was invited to a club to come and see what karaoke was all about. Because at that time, I really didn't remember words and stuff to songs because I really didn't listen to a lot of music. And so I came up and saw what karaoke was all about. Words going across the screen and music was playing. And so I said, well, I can do that. That words are right there. And so I sung karaoke and kind of blew the place out. And next thing I know, this guy wanted me to do a show up there. And I said, man, I just came up here to see what karaoke was about. And he just worried me to death about he'll put a show together for me. And said, all you need is a track. All you need is a track. And so finally one day I said, okay, man, whatever, I'll give you some songs and you can make the track. And so I would usually go to the club every weekend. And just so happened this weekend, I had never thought anything about this show that he was putting together because I had never heard anything back. And so I pulled up on the lot and the lot was full. And I just said to myself, I wonder what they having tonight. And come to find out they were all there for me. And so I got up and started singing off the track and just ran them crazy up in there.
Wow.
And after that, I still didn't want to do it, but I met a guy. His name was Big Mitch Tubman in Alaska. He was well known up there. And he wanted to get out of music and start teaching kids vocals and stuff. And so his keyboard player wanted to put the band together and asked me would I be the front man. And I still wasn't into it, so he just worried me to death. So I put together good band. I said, okay, man, if you game, let's try it. And so we went in the blues club on a Monday night when nobody was coming in the club on Monday night in Alaska. And so after about 2 weeks, the club was full.
Wow.
Blues Central was the name of it, but it closed down. And so, I didn't decide it. My wife decided, well, you need to get out of here. Because somebody had told her, he ain't gonna never be nothing but a lounge singer up here in Alaska. And she said, I'm gonna make them out of that. So after that, we just went on to Memphis, and that's from there. That's how it's been.
The rest is history, huh?
Yeah, that's how it's been.
So do you think with that very first band performance, if it had been a rock and roll band or a country band or some other kind of music, would you have been just as game to start singing along?
I don't think so.
What do you like about the blues?
well, to tell stories. It's about life. Yeah, blues speaks to a lot of people's lives and stuff. Like I said, your life, you was born with the blues. You just don't know it. Yeah, music is all about a part of life. Hard times, bad times, good times. It's all mixed in there together.
It's a lot more storytelling, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You say that I was born with the blues, though. I don't know about that. You think everyone was?
Everybody was born with the blues. They don't know it.
Well, I know that Antone's has been your home here in Austin for performances for a lot of performances and even your annual birthday party. Could you think that the blues could exist here without Antone's?
No. Like I said, they've been very good to me, and keep booking me there when I have. Like I said, I do a residency every Monday, but other than when they have out of town bands come in want to play on Mondays, so I host Blue Mondays there and stuff. Yeah, I've been doing that for the past 6 years.
Yeah, you're all over the place. I mean, you're constantly performing, and I know you're part of the Austin Blues Fest this year. What does being a part of that festival mean to you?
Mm, it's a great opportunity for other people to get a little taste of me and stuff, and I appreciate the call. But it was a last minute call from Jimmy's wife wanted me to come and sing a few tunes with him on the blues festival and stuff, and so yeah. But no, it's always a great opportunity for other folks to get to know me a little bit around Texas and around.
That's great. We're glad that you got roped in.
No, thank you.
Is there anything else that you think we should know about Soul Man Sam or the blues in Austin? What it's like to perform?
Oh well, yeah, I'm on my way. On my way next week. I'm going home. I'm doing a show in Memphis at the Hernando Hideaway. Me and some of the Antone's All-Star Band. And so we're doing a show in Memphis. Be my first time singing in my hometown. And so that's going to be fun.
Wow.
Get to see my kids and my grandkids and stuff while I'm down there and stuff. But this coming up week is going to be a great weekend because they have a lot of great artists coming in. There's Jimmy and Gary Clark Jr. and Tomar and myself and the funk I call Sunday gonna be the funk day because they're gonna have the legendary George Clinton and P Funk and War and Treaty. So the whole weekend is gonna be great.
Awesome. Well, that's exciting. You mentioned you're playing in Memphis soon.
Mm-hmm.
How is it different playing the blues in Memphis compared to in Austin?
Well, Memphis is the blues capital of the world. Well, it's two parts to Memphis. It's the Soulville, USA, they call it, and the blues capital of the world. And this is just a different vibe as far as the blues is concerned. It's southern blues, and it's Texas blues, and Delta blues, in Chicago blues. They're all different, blues types and stuff. But yeah, but they're all great.
Do you have a preference of one type over the other, or you like them all?
No, like I said, I've come to get into Texas blues and stuff, and so now I like it. I kind of like it when I hear the right people playing it.
Yeah, I just wonder if you have any advice for young musicians or younger musicians in Austin wanting to get into the blues scene and be like you.
I don't know if they want to be like me.
I bet they do.
It's just it's something they want to do and they're passionate about doing it. I think they should go for it. It's nothing easy about it. Music is work too. Singing is work, but it's fun. It's fun work. That's why I enjoy doing it and stuff because it's fun. I love doing it. I love people, enjoy what I do, and I'm kind of a joker around stage, and I like to tease and have fun, and it's because there's a whole lot of different things other than just singing, just standing there singing. To me, it's a whole lot of more than that, and so I like to entertain, and so that's what I do. But like I said, for the younger kids, if there's something passionate they want to do, just do it with a lot of passion, and you got to put a lot of work into doing it to make yourself as good as you can be.
Awesome. Well, Soul Man Sam, thank you for joining us, and make sure you catch his set this weekend at the festival, and every week in town, look for him out and about with his residency. And hope to talk to you again. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Doug.
Hey y'all, it's Nikki. You've probably noticed that there is a lot of construction and building happening in our city, but there's more to it than what you're seeing while you're sitting in traffic. Development isn't just cranes and construction, it's your plumbing working, your lights turning on, and the roof over your head holding strong. Every building we set foot in every day was shaped by the development process. And Austin Development Services hosts a free monthly series called the Info Series, which teaches Austinites the ins and outs of the development process. Every month is a different topic. And this May, the topic is building codes. You'll learn what happens behind the scenes during permitting and inspections, and why these rules matter long after construction is completed. It happens on Thursday, May 21st at 11 a.m., and it is free and online. Register and access past sessions at publicinput.com/infoseries.
For the second part of this conversation, I'm here with DK Harrell, a Louisiana-based blues guitarist and a vocalist who's been called the past, the present, and the future of the blues. And he's in town for the Austin Blues Festival. Hi, DK. How are you?
Hello, how are you?
Great. So we all know Austin as the quote-unquote live music capital of the world. So I want to know from your perspective, do you think Austin has a reputation as a blues city?
Oh, of course. It's funny how everyone, especially when it comes to blues, there are so many cities that try to claim, like where the blues came from and what's the home of the blues. But I really think it's just based on different genres. So in my opinion, I feel like Austin is one of those fathers and mothers of the blues because, of course, you have Texas blues, then you have Chicago blues, you have Louisiana blues, and then you have Mississippi Delta blues. So it just all depends on how people look at it. But in my opinion, I feel like Austin was the first Nashville, if that makes sense.
Ooh.
Because, a lot of people give a lot of credit and claim to Nashville, Tennessee for being, like the place for live music and country artists and things of that nature. But in my opinion, I feel like Austin and Houston, Texas were the biggest when it came to music and blues.
What makes Texas blues its own genre?
Well, if you really think about it, especially when it comes to the artists, you had so many artists that originated or started their careers in Texas. You had Mr. Roy Gaines. You had Bobby Blue Bland, who recorded out of Duke and Peacock Records out of Houston, Texas. You had, of course, Freddie King, who's seen as the Texas Cannonball. And then, of course, T-Bone Walker, who put one of the biggest blues hits out, Stormy Monday, who was from the Texas area.
Mm-hmm.
So also what makes it unique is the different types of shuffle. As for Chicago blues is more of a swing type of shuffle, whereas for Texas blues is more of aggressive and really hitting it hard and more reliant on the bass than it is the shuffle of the drums. So, and it's really comes from more of the bass strings on the blues guitar.
Is the shuffle the beat? Is that the right?
The shuffle to me in Texas blues is more of the grooving and the rhythm of the bass guitar and of the rhythm guitar, which 9 times 10 is the lead guitarist playing rhythm as well. For example, if you listen to Stevie Ray Vaughan, the things that drive his music instrumentation-wise is, of course, his rhythm guitar playing,
Mm-hmm.
but there's also the bass player making sure the pocket is there for him to do what he needs to do. And the drummer really is just playing a straight beat, a straight pocket, as we call it, because he already knows that the bass player and Stevie are handling the meat and potatoes, you know? So he's just being the little, the little side dish with his little, drumming techniques and things of that nature. So he may add, a splash of steak sauce to the steak, but the bass and the rhythm guitar are going to do most of the work for Stevie Ray Vaughan's type of style of Texas blues. But that rhythm had to be heavy and low because that's what people move to. Texas Shuffles was made to be raw and gritty for the people to dance, whereas the Chicago Blues Shuffle was more of shuffling to keep the story of that blues song at the attention of the listeners, which is why
Wow.
we have cats like B.B. King and Albert King, who are considered more Chicago blues than Texas because it was more about storytelling. Whereas for Stevie Ray, you don't really care about the words because that groove is there, that drive is hidden in that
The
Texas
whale. Yeah.
well. So, and that's what really drives it. So I feel like Texas blues is more driven, and Chicago blues is more focused on the storytelling of the song.
Wow. And I know that, you personally were heavily influenced, still probably are, by B.B. King, but you also mentioned our guy here, Stevie Ray Vaughan. So did Stevie Ray, kind of impact you as a musician in your style?
In a sense, yes. What I admired so much about Stevie because I can't lie to you, people still make the blues political um, and racial because they go, oh, well, white people stole this and white people stole that. But when you look at the reality of it, there weren't many blues record label holders in the 50s, 60s, 70s, etc. The only really big black-owned label that I could think of for that time is Motown.
Mm-hmm.
So we really can't make it a race thing of, who took what and who stole it because we all borrow from somebody. But when it comes to Stevie, what I admired most, especially when I dug into the history of Stevie myself instead of listening to others, he has such a admiration and love for Albert King, and didn't
Mm-hmm.
mind telling people, hey, a lot of the stuff that I play, I stole and took from this man, and he would say it proudly in front of Albert, and Albert was proud of that. In a sense, it's kind of like giving respect to those who paved the way before you. So to me, race doesn't cover that. It doesn't fall into that category. If
Mm-hmm.
someone inspires you, they inspire you. And I feel like with Stevie leaving us, so soon in the 90s, such a young man, I feel like he was just reaching the tip of the iceberg of his success. He was already amazing and great. Um, and people cannot be upset, or certain people can't be upset that maybe he made a little bit more money than Albert King, or maybe he got a little bit more popular than Albert King. But you also have to look at the times. Stevie
Right.
was not coming up as a player during racial, situations. He was coming up when we had already integrated. And
Yeah.
I appreciate Stevie for what he did by being uh, non-racial about it and saying, I want to be able to play with Albert Collins and Albert King and B.B. King and rub shoulders with these people and befriend them because I'm a student of what they gave to me. So to
Mm-hmm.
me, it's just the student thanking the masters. That's all it is.
Right, and giving credit where it's due. I mean, I do love this story that I read about you and your early interest and kind of how soon you took to music. I read that even before you spoke, you sang. You were in the car and
Mm-hmm.
you started making some noise. Nobody knew what it was, and it was you singing along to B.B. King and Tracy Chapman's "The Thrill Is Gone."
True story.
So I gotta know, what are your earliest memories of music?
Oh man. I remember the first harmonica I ever got. I said, and it was this kids' toy harmonica. You could get them at a Family Dollar or a Dollar General, and it was blue. It was blue and white, and I would play to the Blues Brothers movie, the first one. Everybody needs somebody because that's I just love the music. And I probably was about 4 or 5 years old then.
Oh my gosh.
I also remember when I did my first ever live performance, and it was impersonating Ray Charles at the Black History program in first grade. I sung What I Say. I don't play piano to save my life, but they set up a piano that you could just, sit up on a stand, and I had on some shades, and I wore, because we had to wear uniform at the time, so I had on my red polo shirt, khaki pants, and like some black and white Nikes, and I was lip singing and playing to What I Say, and then I started to do it at family reunions where I remember lip singing and playing Ray Charles and doing America the Beautiful. And then as I got older and learned about more artists like Sam Cooke and Otis Redding and Sam and Dave, which is more of the R&B stats records, Atlantic Records artists. I was at the family reunion doing Otis Redding's Mr. Pitiful and Try a Little Tenderness and stuff like that.
So you'll be in Austin this weekend. As a performer, how do our audiences here in Austin, this live music capital of the world, compare to in other cities? Or do they all just kind of blur together?
I did a festival in Austin a couple years ago, and it wasn't with my band. They had kind of like sit-in bands in a sense, and I was playing with the Muller Brothers, who I'm sure you know.
Mm-hmm.
And Johnny and his brother were just so kind and so warm, and we had a good time, and it was amazing to me because it was such a mixture of young people, older people, black and white, Hispanic. And I want to say there was even a young man there playing the blues who was from the Middle East, if I'm not mistaken. And I was just so surprised. I was like, man, these people are really doing it. I see why people talk about Austin the way they do. And I had a good time. My friend, my friend who's a Texan, Matthias Latini, was there as well. And we just had a big party. But the city itself is beautiful. The people are beautiful. The food was very good. And what I notice about the people in Austin, when they have a festival event, they like to drink and they don't mind, they don't mind having fun when they're drinking. No problems happen. Everybody's having fun when they're drinking. So I look forward to being back this weekend. And I'm really in shock because it's the Austin Blues Festival. And to me, the Austin Blues Festival is what the Chicago Blues Festival is to up north. So
Really? It has that big of a reputation? Like, it's that big of a deal?
to me, yes.
Yeah.
Because it's seen as one of the major ones. I mean, and it's a major one if you got Parliament Funkadelic headlining the last day, so.
The lineup is wild. I know that, I sort of threw in the quote about you being the past, the present, and the future of blues, but for you being on that lineup, as a younger man, do you think about, how blues music can kind of get to a new audience or can reach new audiences these days?
Yes. Honestly, I feel like the film Sinners did a decent job at exposing the blues to the younger generation through actors that they know,
Hmm.
like Michael B. Jordan and Del Orlando. Uh, it's a beautiful thing because Sinners is one of those movies that it did something it never done before, where blues played such a center part. Now, of course, it took place in Clarksdale. It was based in Clarksdale, but it still focused on the blues roots and made it very known to the audiences all over the world that the blues is a root or mother of all music. And there were things that the naked eye saw, but the mind could make more in depth, such as the scene when he is singing, Del Orlando is singing in the car, and they're about to pass some field worker prisoners, and he gives them words of encouragement. And you have to think about it. It's not just him giving them words of encouragement. That's where the blues comes from. So it goes deeper than just field working prisoners. It goes back to sharecropping. It goes back to slavery. It goes back to the motherland of Africa. And that's just the facts of it. So that film shows so much of not only the blues culture, but Black culture and what American culture is. It even displayed the culture, the cultural background, the Chinese background of the Chinese couple that were in that town. You see the geisha, dancer in the
Right.
background. So it's like it did a great job at displaying culture and what has made American culture what it is. And that's the thing. The American culture is not some white man with blonde hair and blue eyes, he thinks he's right all the time. No, American culture is actually the different cultures from different continents and countries that have come over here and have made this place their home.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, Sinners goes way deeper than just the blues music. But they did a good job of exposing it to young people, to older people. And that to me gives me hope that in the near future, hopefully that they make more films dedicated to the blues. And hopefully we can get some more biographies out there, because the last real good blues biography that did well was Ray. I feel like if we continue to utilize the young actors or the actors and actresses that people know in popular
Mm-hmm.
society and popular media in these films, then we can make blues music more known to the public at a bigger way than just through a radio station or through social media promotion of a flyer or a live show.
Right. I'm so fascinated by the idea that blues is telling so much more of a historical story. And I hadn't thought about that, which feels really stupid now, because I think that when we're taught about the blues, just on a basic understanding, it's like you think it's all supposed to be sad, right? I'm singing the
Correct.
blues, I'm sad, do you think that? Like, do you feel that way, or can the blues be not sad?
I really wonder who originated the term blues for this genre of music. Now it fits very well. It's a catchy title of music, title for a genre. But I don't feel like it is sad music and it's not happy music. The way I describe it is blues is life as we live it. It's waking up every morning, thanking whatever God or gods or whatever you believe in for waking you up. Even if you thank yourself for waking up, but you wake up and you go out there and you face the world. And when you face the world, you get a mixture of good, bad, sadness, happiness. But the really important part is that you come home safely, you eat, you shower, you spend time with your family, friends, etc. You go to sleep and you do it all over again. That's what the blues is.
Hmm.
It's these encounters that you have as you live your life every day. I think what kind of scares people about the blues is that it's so personal.
Mm-hmm.
We're judged for being emotional, for wearing our hearts on our sleeve and things of that nature. So I feel like sometimes it's not the fact that it's sad that scares people. It's the fact of how raw it is. If you told somebody of my age to say, hey, I want you to sing this blues song about something you've been through, but I want you to know that the music is not going to overpower your vocals. The music is going to be there, but your voice, your story is going to be at the forefront. So you telling me you want me to sing this song about what I've been through in front of all these people, and that's personal to me? Well, yeah. But what if they don't like it? Well, that's fine. But how you know they gonna like it? It don't matter. You expressed yourself.
Yeah.
And that's a bold thing to do. Ruth Brown said it best. God rest her soul. Ruth Brown said the blues was the only style of music where a man could cry and nobody judge him. And when you look at it, it's true. Even in
Mm-hmm.
today's standards. I remember I was in high school and I'm embarrassing myself. Now, I liked this young lady a lot. Liked her so much. And she wouldn't give me a chance. So I sung B.B. King's Sweet 16 to the whole class in front of her and I cried. And I remember as I was crying while I was singing, my voice kind of broke and got ugly, naturally. And there's one young lady whose name I won't mention, but this one young lady in my class, she went, why he doing all
Oh,
that?
no.
Why he doing all that crying? Just stop. Now, of course it hurt. Of course I remember it. But I thought to myself, that's the problem with a lot of today's music. The emotion is not there.
Wow. Well, she is very mean. And I'm sorry that she did that
No.
to you, because I think, yeah, I mean, you're right. The vulnerability, that's what people connect with, is lyrics that, resonate, that remind you of something that you've been through or help you
True.
get through something that you're going through. And, I just think that there's so many layers that I'm now seeing more and more to blues music. So I knew you play guitar, you write your lyric, you write songs, you sing. What's your favorite part?
Oh, my favorite part, honestly, is interacting with the audience. To me, songwriting is the most challenging part because, I can never say this artist's name correctly, but I want to say his name is the Priest Safri, or the B Safri. He's a black artist out of the UK. If you don't know him by name, he has a song called the Telephone Song, where he's like, "It's nice to hear your voice again. I've waited all day long. I've even wrote a song for you." And he did an interview back in the 70s where they asked him, do you read your audience and play what they want to hear, or do you play what you want to play? And he said, I play what I want to play because they're here to see me.
Mm-hmm.
And now some artists I've seen them watch this interview and they're like, oh, well, that's why he wants successful in the first place, because he's playing for him. And it's like, well, no, he's not saying that he's playing for himself.
Yeah.
So to me, as an artist, always be true to yourself. And I feel like when you be true to yourself with your music, it shows your humility as a musician and as a human being. And I feel like when you can take a good persona that you have, a good personality, not a Sasha Fierce like Beyonce has. I don't need an alter ego to be who I need to be.
Right. I imagine you'll be playing for yourself here in Austin. Having said all that, right?
In a sense, yes, but still entertaining the people.
And especially because you'll be performing the day after your birthday.
Yes. Another thing that I'm really happy about is not just playing Austin Blues Festival, but I get to play Austin Blues Festival and then later on that same night play Antone's.
All right.
Because they have a late show in regards to the Blues Festival. And I'm just like, man, I get to play 2 historical festivals in one night. That's all right with me.
And Antone's, thankfully, they just they have a new 50-year lease. So we're very happy that.
Oh, beautiful.
They're not going anywhere. Home of the Blues here in Austin. They're sticking around for quite a while, even though so much else has changed. So.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah. Is there anything else, DK, that you think we should know here in Austin about you or the blues or the future of the blues?
Well, for one, the blues has never been dead. The blues has never been on life support. The blues has always been alive and well. We just needed somebody to look over it and tend to it. I compare the blues sometimes to a toddler. You let that toddler out of sight, they do something wrong, and you're trying to figure out what's going on because things keep breaking in the house. But if you just keep your eye on the blues, everything will be all right. Also, I like to tell the people that if they do see us perform, whether if it's at the festival or at Antone's, that no matter what, we're always going to give 100% to the audience, and that don't be scared to approach me before or after the show, because all I'm going to do is smile, give you a big hug, shake your hand, and talk your ears off. And lastly, all I can say is for all of those who are continuing to keep this genre of music relevant, thank you for loving the blues. That's all I can say is thank you.
Well, thank you for playing them. And DK, we will look for you on stage at the Austin Blues Festival this weekend and at Antone's and out and about gallivanting through town. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
That's all for today here on CityCast Austin. You can find more on DK Harrell, Soul Man Sam, and the Austin Blues Fest in our show notes. And if you enjoyed the show, why not tell your friends, rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our CityCast Austin newsletter. And if you really love CityCast Austin, help support it by becoming a neighbor today at membership.citycast.fm. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Bye.